Howdy, everybody. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday, and I hope that your week is going great. This is your boy Germ, and, well, I will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, welcome to Kinetic Aesthetic. I am your host, Germ, and despite what you may think, I am not sort of sounding as despondent and less than enthused because of the Bears' loss. It's actually because, you can't tell by this thing that's over my shoulder, that's sitting in that chair, I had a very bad leg injury. In this past week, I have a very bad leg. I fractured it, and I'm pretty much a cripple right now with one good leg, and I'm hopping around everywhere, so I apologize if I don't have the energy yet. It's still sort of kicking my ass mentally. I'm sort of haven't gotten over it. But enough about me and all my bullshit. Let's talk about sports. This week, of course, we had the divisional round. It was three great games, and we had one sort of mid-game. But all in all, we had a lot of interesting things happen this week. We had some interesting things that have happened to start this week, and there's so much to get into it. So just to start things off, I'm going to start off with the first game that happened over the weekend. That, of course, is Denver having to play against Buffalo. And this game is honestly going to have a lot of long-lasting implications just going forward across the league. But just to actually sum up the game itself, it was a tight-knit game. It was, once again, it's Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, trying to carry the Bills. Of course, he's not alone. He had the league's number one rusher. But they were going against that high-powered Denver defense. You had Bo Nix, who was playing pretty well this game. He did his thing. And all in all, it just came down to what, like, everybody that knows and follows the Bills, that really pays attention to them, has always said it. But you ride this carousel when you are just relying on Josh Allen to do exemplary things to get your team ahead. And we saw the ceiling of that, because as great as Josh Allen was, when you're just having him go out there and just having him chuck it, and you're just having him go out there and, we just need you to make something happen, Josh. A lot of times, unless he is having a very lucky day, he's going to end up throwing at least one pick. He's going to turn over the ball somehow, and we saw that. There was 4 turnovers he had. They were all bad. The one that was really egregious, the one that I think is going to haunt them, of course, is going to be the one that was before the end of the half. He's running with the ball. He's just holding it out there like this, whole hand extended, and somebody just comes and punches that shit out. And it's why would you do that move? Why would you, in that situation, not be trying to secure the ball and make sure it's protected? And as much as I would love to shit on Josh Allen for making a lot of these mistakes that he made, I can't, because that's just the way that team is built. It's not built for anything other than Josh is going to have to come and save us if we're in a game where we're not dominating. And again, you see how that bites you in the ass. They got him a whole bunch of times when it comes to turnovers. It's honestly really sad to see that he was crying at the end of the game and everything at the press conference, blaming himself. You had the wide receiver I can't remember his name right now. He was crying. You literally had 3 players crying. It just felt like they knew, unfortunately, this might have been their window. And we're going to get back into why it probably shouldn't be that way, but it might be in a little bit. But just to continue to just talk about it, really, I don't blame them for how they handled everything following this loss, because this was the type of loss where I was thinking about it afterwards. Where do you go? You can't get, like, as much as people want to try to just focus on, it was just that catch that. Now that we continue looking at it, I hate the rule, but the rule is, the rule fit. It should have been an interception. Should have been an interception in the Bears game too, but we'll get to that soon. But it's at a point now where I don't really know what they are going to really do. What do you do to change it? You're not cleaning house all the way, so there's not really much that I think is going to be changed aside from a new voice at the top in terms of the head coach. So with all that being said, all the credit must still be given to Denver before I go into everything that happened after the game. Bo Nix played well. If Bo Nix didn't break his ankle and was out for the season, that's the other big news that comes out of this on the Denver side, I would honestly be picking them to win it all. That defense is good enough. They got the Texans out of there, so they are the best remaining defense. Bo Nix was playing well enough to where I don't think that, he might not have been the main reason they won, but it would have been similar to a Ben Roethlisberger situation of, young guy who comes in and does just enough. He doesn't fuck up, he doesn't shit the bed, and he leads his team to a championship. Now I don't know, because as good as that defense is, we literally just saw it with the Texans. If you don't have a good quarterback, if you don't have the right guy under center who's able to make the passes or just not fuck up, you're not going to go far. You're going to get fucked over. You're going to lose in the end. So it'll be interesting to see how things go on that end. Jarrett Stidham he has big shoes to fill, and he has a very big-ass situation to walk into, but all he's got to do is not fuck up, because they should have a chance. That defense is good enough to win. Now, when it comes to everything that happened after this game, like I already talked about, it was crazy to see Josh Allen crying. It was crazy to see all of them crying. And it sort of became obvious to me what was going to happen when I saw the former head coach Sean McDermott's press conference. There was one of the picks that Josh Allen threw was arguably shouldn't have been a pick, because it was a deep throw. Guy goes up, catches it. As he's coming down, the defender wrestles it from him. His feet were down. It was looking like he still had it. And somewhere a little bit after that, in like a split second, it gets stripped from him. Defender comes up with it, ruled a pick. Coach was pissed afterwards. Everybody on Buffalo was pissed. It was just it clearly looked like a catch to pretty much everybody that was watching it that wasn't a fucking Denver Broncos fan. And that played a big part. But when I saw the coach going out there trying to focus on that and trying to blame the refs instead of what was happening, that's when I sort of knew McDermott was going to get fired. Now, okay, if you've been paying attention this entire season, it's already been known. I've already said it when I talked about the Bills multiple times. This was a Super Bowl or bust team. This was the definition. If they didn't get there this year, at least to the Super Bowl, I don't know if there was any chance of him coming back at all. So the fact that he got fired the other day doesn't really surprise me. What I will say has been shocking and been just sad has been the way that the owner and the GM have handled it. Now, to start things off, for some reason, their GM, a guy, his last name's Bean or something. This motherfucker, despite being the reason Josh Allen has never had a number one receiver since Stephon Diggs left, the reason why they decided to overpay Von Miller when his old ass was just when his old ass didn't have much left to offer. He has been behind just this poor roster construction and has not really made any good draft picks outside of Josh Allen since then. So clearly you would think they're going to fire him too. They're going to fire the head coach. They're going to start all over. No, this motherfucker ended up getting promoted to basically president of football operations, and it's left the entire football world, including myself, just stunned. Because as much as it made sense to fire Sean McDermott, to get rid of him, to get a new voice, I don't think anyone would try to sit there and realistically claim that he was their biggest issue. I think roster construction, I think Josh being so turnover prone when he has the ball in his hands and it's all on him, has always been clear to everybody. That's your main issue. That's what's going on. You guys need to just build your roster better. So to see him be the one, and this is coming after reports that he met with the owner, he met with the GM, and he told them, our roster is just weak in certain points, and they disagreed. That just shows me that despite what everybody thought, the Bills are not the best run organization. They are not well run at all, if we're really being honest. We saw that today just by the press conference that the fucking owner came out and did, Pagula. It was some of the worst shit I've ever seen. He was throwing Keon Coleman, their wide receiver they drafted in the first round a couple years ago, under the bus. He's saying, I didn't really agree with that. That was the coaches on their own. We never really liked them. The type of shit that you don't say to somebody that's still on your roster that you're still fucking paying. So what I've come to realize just based off that press conference, and that happened today. As of me recording this is me just a couple hours removed from seeing that. The Bills are probably going to regress. I don't necessarily, this is starting to remind me of one of those situations where an owner comes in, he gets a little bit too involved, he starts making hasty decisions, and the organization suffers for years as a result. I just don't see how they are going to come in unless they hire the perfect head coach, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that when you have a team that's already built, that's already assembled. You've already got the MVP quarterback. You've already got established voices in the locker room. How do you do it? Because if they don't hire the right guy, the team is undoubtedly going to regress. You don't have much time left in Josh Allen's prime window. So I would honestly give him about 2 or 3 years before, if he doesn't see a lot of improvements, he himself is going to be trying to find a way out of there, especially now that he's got a fucking Hollywood wife. So this is a make or break year for the Bills. This offseason, I should say. And it didn't necessarily, I didn't go into this game, I didn't go into the game after Sean McDermott was fired thinking that was going to be the case. But when you actually start to realize and see the way that these organizations are run and the people that are in charge of them, it gives you a better idea of how crucial shit can be when you don't even realize it. So I root for Josh Allen. I'm hoping he's able to overcome this organizational dysfunction, but this is literally the worst possible start, and we may have just seen the ending of the Bills window, especially when you have the Patriots. Now, when it comes to the other game that happened, we had Seattle whooping the shit out of the 49ers. They whooped that ass about 41-9. I don't even know. Yeah, I think it was like 41-9. This was an ass whooping. This was a team that was completely outmatched. I don't know if Seattle is going to be able to really have a challenge next week. The way the Rams played the Bears, and we'll talk about that later, this is looking like the team. They are looking like the ones. You can say what you want about Sam Darnold. I know Minnesota fans are going to be giving themselves hell because it's looking like he is going to get that ring. And yeah, it's really, really looking like a sure thing for them. I don't really have much else to say about this one. I mean, we had Sam Darnold going in there with an oblique injury. Everybody was worried, okay, him being hurt might mean they might actually encounter some trouble. Fucking opening kickoff return for a touchdown, and they did not look back from there. They just continued to whoop that ass. They continued to get in their grill. They were talking shit afterwards, and they deserved to. So I really don't have much to say about this game. Seattle's probably my pick right now. I don't see whoever comes out of the AFC winning beating them, and that's just my personal opinion. That defense is too stacked. It's too good. You're too good at every position outside of the quarterback, to the point where I just feel like he can come in and throw 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl, and I still think the Seahawks will win it. Now, moving on to Sunday's games, it's time we talk about the Patriots against the Texans. CJ Stroud. This was one of the worst quarterback performances in the playoffs I've ever seen in my life. This was shocking. I had an opinion of CJ Stroud going into this game that I thought was just fact. I thought that, okay, he's a solid quarterback. He might not be the best. He might have underperformed last week, but he might have the lights were a little brighter. He just had an off day. The way he performed against the Patriots, throwing 4 picks, almost 5, just looking scared and erratic the entire time. I don't know if CJ Stroud is the top 15 quarterback that I thought he was. I don't know. And I'll say this, we've heard of quarterbacks that are a lot that have Hall of Fame, that are in the Hall of Fame. We've heard of guys that have been the best player in the league. They have off days like this. I mean, we just talked about Josh Allen. Brett Favre threw 6 interceptions in the playoffs once. Peyton Manning threw 4 in the playoffs once. It happens to the best of them. But it's so egregious to me because he really if he would have thrown 1 less interception, I still feel like the Texans almost win this game. That's how good the defense was playing. That's how much pressure they were putting on Drake May. The man fumbled the ball 4 times. The Texans defense has every right to want to whoop that man's ass, because when I tell you he is 100% the reason they lost that game. You can't put that game on anybody else. And so I hate that for CJ, because I know that's got to be real, real shitty. I know people are letting him hear it. I hope he's got his fucking Instagram comments cut off and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you can't go out there and put a stinker like that up. You have got to play better. You have got to just show up, because you're the franchise in Houston. And the way this team was constructed this year, if he would have played Tyrod Taylor level football, like career backup level football, they would have won this game. They'd be moving on to the AFC Championship. And to be honest with you, going up against that Denver team with fucking Jarrett Stidham as quarterback, that would be a toss-up game. So this one's going to hurt. This one's going to bother Houston for a while, because if he doesn't rebound from this and the defense just falls off a cliff, they're going to blame him. And it's going to be his fault that they did not take advantage of the number 1 defense they had this year. And that's the part that makes me feel real shitty for Houston fans, because this definitely could have been their year. If I had to be honest, if there was going to be a team that came out of the wild card that wasn't one of the top 2 that made it, it was going to be them. So yeah, I hate that for them. When it comes to the Patriots, I didn't really go into this game. I didn't really come out of this game thinking that they are great or that they are just destined to make it. I really just came out of this game feeling like CJ Stroud handed it to them. I'm interested to see how things go next week for them against Denver, but I'm not picking them, especially if Denver, it's like, this is a team that Drake May has struggled. He's been one of the most sacked quarterbacks all year, and you have Denver, who has gotten the most sacks across the entire league this year. It is not a good matchup for them. I'm not going to expect a blowout, but I'll be honest with y'all, I think Denver should probably win this one by at least 10 points. And that's probably my vote for the AFC. Now, moving on, final NFC game of the week. We had my Bears facing off against the Rams. Just talking about the Rams first, I'm going to give them credit. They came prepared, or most of them did. Puka Nacua, I'm going to be honest with y'all. This Rams team did nothing to impress me. This was a game that I thought, if this is going to be close, if we're really going to be in it, it was probably going to be 34, 30 or something like that. They only put up 20 points. Matt Stafford was off the entire day. Puka wasn't really his best version of himself. Fonte, honestly, even wasn't his best. That offense just wasn't as great as everybody was thinking it was going to be. And I'm not saying Stafford doesn't deserve MVP. I'm not saying that he was overrated, but this was such a disappointing game to me because it felt like everybody was trying to just ignore the weather and ignore how everything was going. It looked uncomfortable. The cayenne pepper in the socks and all that shit, they just did not look like they wanted to be in Chicago playing that game. So I'm not going to shit on them. I'm not going to shit on Sean McVay either. He definitely outcoached Ben Johnson. He made smarter choices when he needed to make them, and he put his team in position. But with that being said, although their coach outcoached our coach and Sean McVay outcoaching Ben Johnson, I will not go as far to say that I think the Rams outplayed the Bears. I think this was a game where the Bears, I feel like we had momentum for so much time in that game that, and I know people are going to want to say maybe look at the score and things like that. The Rams never were scaring me. A lot of the times when the Bears were down or when things weren't looking good, I was more frustrated with how they were performing instead of thinking that this team is just doing a good job stifling us. Caleb was great in the first half. He outperformed Matt Stafford. They had a really, really quiet third quarter, and it was that fourth quarter magic where I thought they were going to do it again, and they did. For the most, they did, honestly. If we're going to be honest, they did do it in the fourth quarter. It was that overtime period where I feel like, and this is where I really want to get into the criticism of Ben for this game. I feel like this was a game where he just got a little too aggressive throughout a lot of parts of it. There were too many different instances where we're going for it on fourth down. There's too many instances where we are not trusting Caleb enough. And I just feel like this was the game where we just saw the difference between a guy like Sean McVay who's 1-1 and a guy like Ben Johnson who's trying to get there. Because it wasn't like they just dominated us. It wasn't like they did anything like that. We had the momentum literally up until Caleb throws that last pick. And I'm going to talk about his picks in a second. I think we had the momentum. I think we had control of the game. And when it comes to those picks, I know people have been trying to harp on Caleb for him. Through 3 picks, he only yada, yada, yada. A lot of those were on fourth down. This goes into why I say Ben needs to just punt the fucking ball or take the points. Sometimes you don't need to. If we had just hit a field goal, one of them, that entire game is going different. We probably win. We're not in that situation. Just a lot of shit like that. And then for the last one that was thrown in OT, that was not the best decision by Caleb. I'm a little mad at DJ, but I'm mainly mad at Ben because, again, why are we throwing it there? Why are we throwing a deep route? Why are we not going with a short little underneath route that's just going to get us a couple yards? There were so many points where it felt like we were it's like Ben goes for the flashy, exotic, or the sexy play instead of just going for the steady one. And that's something he's going to have to learn from. He's going to have to get better at that, but I am not mad at him for it. I will say that I was a little shocked that he went for the field goal at the end of the game after we got that touchdown. I don't know how Caleb does some of this shit also, by the way. Running back that far, I'm watching that game in real time, yelling, I'm getting angry. Then this man turns around, throws the ball, shit goes 55 fucking yards damn near, and he just lands right in Cole Kmet's hands. He is different. And I say that, there's no other word for it. He's different. I've never experienced this. Never experienced it. I just don't know how to really even put into words how amazing he is. But with that being said, I think that Ben has to get better at just not putting Caleb in these situations sometimes. Caleb, we shouldn't have even been going into the fourth quarter down the way we were. It was just a lot of stuff that I feel like Ben's going to get better from, but I do feel like you got to get a little bit of the criticism on this one. But all in all, this was a great season overall. I can't really say that I'm upset or I was sad after it happened. It hurts to lose, but this is the team that was expected to win maybe 8 or 9 games. And here we are in the divisional round with literally one bad throw away from being in the conference championship. A lot of stuff to be excited for, a lot of things to be hopeful for. I definitely think he's going to get the 4,000 yard mark next year. I definitely think that we are going to have a much better defense. I think we're going to see a number 1 wideout explosion from either Luther or Rome next year. But it's going to take everybody just continuing to work hard, continuing to train to get better, and just not getting complacent. And I'm not worried about that with Caleb. I'm not worried that he'll do the CJ Stroud thing and just sort of start feeling himself a little bit too much. But I definitely want to see I want to see motherfuckers working. I think Caleb is embracing the city is embracing him, so that's definitely an amazing thing to have happen. And I have a lot of faith that Ben is going to just, put everybody in the right position, that Poles is going to get some good defensive help for everybody. This was a special year. There were so many different special moments. I'm going to try to just, when it comes to this year, I'm going to look back at this as the year that we discovered who Caleb Williams was. This was Caleb's coming out party. This was his year to burst out on the scene, and he did. He did just that. He succeeded in almost every goal and aspiration that Ben had for him. The only thing he didn't really get completed was his completion percentage. And I think that's going to be on the docket. That's going to be number one on the docket next year. So watch out. Because like I said before, Caleb gets a 65 completion percentage. He's probably going to be an MVP frontrunner next year if he just continues to do all the other stuff he's been doing. I'm sky's the limit. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl win next year, but I'm expecting us to be in the conference championship game at the very fucking least. But yeah, if it comes to the NFC, when it comes to who I think is going to come out of it, Rams didn't impress me. I don't think that defense is going to just all of a sudden turn the shit against LA. So I'm picking the Seattle. I don't think it'll be a blowout win. I don't think it'll be a dominating win, but they are going to beat it. But yeah, that's pretty much almost everything I had for today when it comes to the NFL. I just wanted to happily come in here, talk to y'all about this. Yeah, I'm going to have more, of course, about the Bears. We're going to do a full little season review, do everything, and just look at everything that happened, not just with Caleb, but with the whole team. But for Sports Talk today, I was just going to keep it simple. I just want to talk about the games, give y'all a little preview of what's coming up next, and, just get this one out. This leg thing has been making it very, very difficult for me to stay motivated. Yeah, this has been Kinetic Aesthetic. This has been your boy Germ. I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe on whatever platform that you are checking me out on. It means the world, and it does helps add a little bit to that motivation for me. And other than that, everybody just continue to have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend. This has been your boy Germ. I'll be getting back to y'all soon. I'm gonna have my ASAP Rocky review of his album out, and after that, I'll have something else. I'll have something else ready for y'all by the end of the week.